Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to our book club, A New Earth. And I'm Alyssa, and with me I have Meredith and Jonathan. Welcome everyone. And this week we're going to talk about your inner purpose, chapter 9. This is our second last chapter. We'll have another one next week. So if you're interested to join us, there will be a contact information at the end of this discussion. So to begin, let's. I'm going to pass this to Meredith to do our moment of silence.
Okay, so like a reminder to take big breaths while we do this, or like loud enough to hear it. And let's go ahead and start. Everyone wants to take one more big breath and then open their eyes. Okay.
Okay, so how's everyone this week? Are you guys excited that we're almost done with our chapters? Jonathan?
It seems a little surreal.
Surreal.
But
Sorry, I was asking Jonathan, but Meredith, yeah, you were saying that it feels surreal that it's going to end.
that's what I said. Jonathan, what were you going to say? I apologize.
This chapter, Inner Purpose, is a really great one. It's actually sort of where you come full circle with the practice that Eckhart Tolle prescribes. When you start bringing yourself right back into your bodily space and feeling the aliveness within in every moment, and watching the world unfold into a beautiful mosaic of yours and others' lives and everybody, togetherness and one stuff.
Wow, it's beautiful. Oh wait, all right. Before we started on chapter 9, let's reflect a little bit about our exercise from last week. We were this we were supposed to try a yoga pose and then to observe your breathing when you were having fun. Anyone want to reflect on this?
So like one yoga pose that I do every day is just a like downward dog and then an upward dog. And so those are my poses that I was like consciously aware of my breathing and really centered.
How long?
Making space to do that every day, like I have noticed helps to like release stress, I think.
How long will it take you before you find that calm sense of self in that posture? Is it happen right away, or it take a while?
Well, I think like wherever you can find, I mean, yoga probably does help because you are focused on your breathing, and like involving your body in learning something new or trying to be more aware of something definitely helps. But I don't know if I've reached a threshold. I mean, it's still a practice for me. I don't know. Jonathan, do you have anything to?
Sure.
You chose the yoga exercise. What
Yoga
poses do
posture.
you use?
Something called log campfire. Campfire is a good one. Also, half lotus is a good yoga posture to find that still formless sense of self in.
Well, I have to admit, I did not try any yoga this week or last week. So, yeah, I didn't do homework. Meredith, are you still there?
I am, but it
Oh,
kicked
okay.
me off again for probably lack of connectivity. So
Okay. Yeah, we can still hear you well, so I think this is fine. Anything else? I mean, yeah. Earlier, Meredith and I was talking about observe the your breathing when you were having fun, and I was just like try it in a short while. It just make me stop laughing when I was laughing, and you know when I try to observe my breath work.
Yeah, it gets you grounded. That's just a basic example. It works for just about any emotion. When you're having fun, joy.
Yeah.
But then you can use that also when you're upset. That's the real takeaway from that exercise.
Mm-hmm.
It is a great way to get grounded.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move to chapter 9, page 258. This is a text from the book. Keep moving this one so then we can see all the whole text. Your inner purpose is an essential part of the purpose of the whole. If I can read that. The universe and its emerging intelligence. Your outer purpose can change over time. Finding and living with alignment with the inner purpose is the basis for true success. What does this mean to you? Speculate as to why we were designed that way. Anyone want to reflect on this? What does it mean?
That inner purpose, that awakened inner life, it's a very basic identity that the mind certainly has strong connection to.
So if it's saying like if you don't have that alignment between the outer and inner, even if you're successful, you will be suffering. That's what it says over here. It's like it's just a form of some form of suffering at the end. So like one example that you know, like when you see like Oprah, like as a personality, if she didn't find like living with the alignment with inner and outer, then even if she's a successful TV personality, it will make her suffer at the end. Is that what it really means? It's a question.
Oprah, if she didn't have her inner purpose,
Mm-hmm.
would she
And not
suffer?
alignment with the
No,
inner and
because she'd be busy. She'd be so busy because she's so popular. if she didn't have her inner purpose, she'd be like a leaf in the wind or a feather on the wind, without any sense of attachment or grounding to herself. She would be exactly who people wanted her to be instead of being true to herself. And I think that would make suffering.
Meredith?
In regards to Oprah and her alignment?
In regards to all what Oprah was just
Everything.
an example, yeah.
Well, the way that I took this is, you know, like you can be living a very human experience and not yet awaken to your spiritual side, and then still achieve success on the human side of things, but you're still lacking that feeling that you're always looking for because you haven't found complete balance between your inner world and your outer world. So I feel like that's where like the balance in both of them come into play, like finding out who you really are as an internal being, and then using the human experience for your benefit to like get the things that you want and live in alignment with both sides is kind of like where people are probably always striving for, right? Is like to be totally in flow with the next right step, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. It feels so weird because just listen to you and not seeing you. I was like trying to imagine.
I'm sorry. I'm the lady behind the curtain. Let me see if I can try again. I just don't want it to keep kicking me out and then messing up the video. See,
okay.
y'all, I've got a setup tonight. Okay. Just okay.
So sorry, I just moved to the next slide. I think and this is relate back to the that inner purpose, you know, because the inner purpose is actually the primary primary purpose of your life, but it's something that it's not the thing that you can work on it. It just happened to you when it happened. I'm sure both of you already achieved that, but I'm not sure I have that yet, or maybe I don't know.
Only the first awakening, the first glimpse of consciousness without thought happens by grace.
Yeah.
That's very profound. That is because that is exactly what happens when we are born. Is that first glimpse of consciousness without thought.
Without any doing on your part. Like you don't have to even search for it. It just happens.
That's almost like a Zen koan maybe, but a little different.
Is that how you take it? Like once you're born, that is your
the
first glimpse of your consciousness?
Without thought. Do you think it maybe thinks? Maybe, but not for first off, you know, maybe after a little bit. Newborn, fresh and so clean, you know, like that's what they attribute to the mind of a baby. Yeah.
And again, there's more on that, you know, on that paragraph, what he said on page 260. If you find this book incomprehensible or meaningless, it has not yet happened to you. But if something within you responds to it, however, if you somehow recognize the truth in it, it means the process of awakening has begun. And then he lists like a step or stage, you know, like maybe like a progress that where you find that awakening moment, from first to like when you become aware of like
It says it right here. For some people, the reading of this book will initiate the awakening process. For others, the function of this book is to help them recognize that they have already begun to awaken and to intensify and accelerate the process. Another function of this book is to help recognize the ego within them whenever it tries to regain control and obscure the arising awareness. For some, the awakening happens as they suddenly become aware of the kinds of thoughts they habitually think, especially persistent negative thoughts that they might have been identified with all their lives. Suddenly, there is an awareness that is aware of the thought but not part of it. What is the relationship between awareness and thinking? Awareness is the space in which thoughts exist when that space has become conscious of itself.
right, and then
That's a lot.
it's a lot, but yeah, I think there are two parts on this. You know, like the first is like the first glimpse of consciousness with the thought, whether it's with the book or it just happened to you without the book, right? But like this is just a question. I have it over there. If you had this experience, describe the circumstances in which it happened. Anyone want to reflect on this first before we move to the thinking and awareness and thinking? I know for sure I don't know anything about this.
I can't personally tell you about when this first happened for me, as I was about a minute old. But I'd say that when it reemerged, that was a big experience in my life.
How about you, Meredith?
So I feel that my first awakening happened when I was a kid, and I had like a moment where I just looked down at my hand and had a realization that I was like inside this body, but I was not the body. At least for me, that's what an awakening means. It's like that moment when you make that distinction, I guess. And it wasn't like I was doing anything. I just, just happened.
That's exactly how Tolly would describe it. That's how I understand it. It's just, it's like, when it happened, like, and the way how I see it, because I don't know when it happened, so maybe it's not happened to me yet. That's a safe side to take.
Maybe it's going to be happening throughout the book then, because like,
yeah, it's like a different process or different ways of taking it. And Jonathan, you were saying that the first time it happened when you were born, and then the second time when it emerged.
When I read this book and realized that all these thoughts don't matter and they don't make much sense.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. I mean, if that is if you can consider that, reading this book, I really believe, or believe, it's like there is a truth in, there is a truth in it. So that's why I was so like, oh yeah, I totally agree with the book, so it's on this but it's not like it's the story of Meredith was telling me is like make it so unique, because that's like it's exactly what Tolly was saying, that you don't have to do anything on your part. It just happened. And then if you saying that reading this book, like I'm reading this book and I'm agreeing with it, it's like me reading the book, like I was doing something on my part. That's how I see it. Maybe I was overthinking. I don't know.
It's like those moments, I think, At least for me, like looking back on what I would deem very pivotal moments where synchronicity came into play, like you're meeting the right people or doing events that you don't realize the importance of at the time. Like those all are like the beautiful little pieces that get people to where they need to be each step of the way. And if that isn't like beautiful, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all like pre-orchestrated, planned out, but it's like this like journey that we get to go on and experience the journey. Like that's what it's about.
Right. Part of the journey, being on Meetup. Hooray.
Yes, I mean, it's, right? I mean, that's why how we meet, right? This is it happened.
Right.
All right, so now let's move to what the question that Meredith was asking earlier, the relationship between awareness and thinking. And awareness is the space in which thoughts exist when that space has become conscious of itself. And the separation of thinking and awareness, which lies at the core of your primary purpose, happens through the negation of time. Do you agree with this? And why? Why do you think this is true? Oh, first, do you agree with this?
Yes.
Separation of thinking and awareness, which lies the core of your primary purpose, happens through the negation of time.
Yeah. Jonathan, are you going to say something, or
I was just thinking about the formless thing, which is counter for what's the word? Oxymoron. The formless thing. It's an oxymoron. The formless thing, you know, this the primary purpose. The formless thing. Yeah, but like it's contradictory. Awareness. Thoughts exist. Thoughts exist. Right. When your thoughts exist, you must have some awareness because you're not your thought. Isn't that the primary purpose? Is to see life from a higher point of view than just as a thought in our head?
I'm confused.
Me too.
No, I'm confused. Meredith, help.
So
I thought I understand.
As far as time goes,
uh-huh.
I feel like any way that you can detach from like the dimensions of this world, and one of them is like through time, right? I mean, I'm not super sciencey. Maybe don't quote me there, but like, isn't time a basic construct of this dimension? So like, if we can, like,
this too shall pass is totally about time.
Yeah, but it's like it's the negation of that. I mean, it's not. It doesn't have any meaning. I mean, if
right, that's how I was
present,
taking it.
yeah, that's how I was taking it too. It's like the present is okay. I don't know. It's like the present moment is future will never happen. You know, the past is already done. So what we have right now is just the presence, the right now, the moment right now.
Yeah, and the more you get hung up in the construct of time, the more you're playing into anxiety. I mean, it's just, you know, you're thinking about things that haven't happened yet.
Where did I get this code? 1261. I was trying to find this. with the grace of awakening come responsibility. Where is that? Where is that? The separation of thinking and awareness. Is it somewhere? What page is that? I'm sorry.
Oh, 265.
265. What did it say about it?
The separation of thinking and awareness, which lies at the core of your primary purpose, happens through the negation of time. We are not speaking here, of course, of the use of time for practical purposes, such as making an appointment or planning a trip. We are not speaking of clock time, but of psychological time, which is the mind's deep-seated habit of seeking the fullness of life in the future, where it cannot be found, in ignoring the only point of access to it, the present moment. So like you said, it's all about being in the present moment. When you look upon what you do or where you are as the main purpose of your life, you negate time. So you're like, the negation of time is also in what you do, also provides the link between your inner and outer purposes, between being and doing.
And when you
negate time, you negate the ego.
Because the doing itself become the focal point of your attention. So it's like time has no meaning because we just focus on the present moment. So then what is the relationship between the separation of thinking and awareness? I totally understand about all that, being present,
It's kind of like
negation of time, but then the part that I'm stuck is like this separation of thinking and awareness. It's like you're thinking and someone please help.
Yeah, it's like the space between the thoughts. They say that energy fills the space between things. Some people say there's emptiness between all the molecules, but I'm like,
Right?
no, there's light between the molecules. That's how we see that we perceive that there's empty space because of the light between the molecules and the atoms and stuff and the electrons. So when you get into the separation of awareness and thoughts, you end up with this dual personality. There's the still silent you, which is patiently waiting for the thinking self to get done with the thinking, so that the being side of the self can enjoy itself. So it's almost like you end up with a bit of old-fashioned like Greek schizophrenia, where you've got a split mind for a while until that awareness really becomes much more ingrained in your thought patterns and end up an awakened being.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just digesting right now. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that, right? Because I just should let it happen. Anyway. All right. The next slide is about the success, but anyone want to make a conclusion of this? It's just like it's just me that need a conclusion. I think both of you are really good with this already, right? I mean, you're like
I can make a pretty strong conclusion.
okay, Go ahead.
The space in which thoughts exist, that actually contradicts something Tolle mentions earlier in the book, where he says even the thoughts have physical forms. The thoughts have physical forms within the brain, which are made out of the brain cells.
Okay.
The thoughts have a physical form, but it, when these things when these brain cells start, just shining the answer yes, so to speak, to life, it is mirrored in the outer reality, because the thoughts and the reality totally intertwined and together in this wonderful marriage of thought, intention, and physicality.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's very hard to separate them, right? I mean, it's like you said, yeah, makes sense.
Oh yeah.
But can I revisit when you said that it's contradict? So when it's contradict, then we just going to let it go?
Energy medicine, yeah, it's two different paradigms. They aren't uncompatible. They just look at life to different ways. So, it's more like you can see Tolle's own personal development as he goes through the writing of the book, and that's something that is pretty cool. That
so you saying
is there as well.
It's like evolution for him as well, like in the earlier
the author's own personal change as he writes, and I think that's pretty nifty.
All right. All right, so this is on page 270. There was a question that he asked: is the notion of success just an egoic illusion, and how do we measure through success? And then a quote that say you cannot become successful, but you can only be successful. You cannot become successful, you can only be successful. Anyone want to reflect on this? Jonathan, I'm excited to hear what you're going to say.
I'm really contemplating this one. Well, with the paradigm and philosophy that Tolle is representing in this book, become represents a future thing, which is what he's railing against, saying caused so much anxiety. He says you cannot become successful, you can only be successful, because becoming is in the future. It is not acceptance of what is.
Okay. Meredith?
I feel like, yes, success is probably strongly egoic illusion, but that's also part of why we came here, is to do the whole balancing act, like we talked about earlier, like finding true purpose inside and then also finding purpose outside, and balancing those together, and having fun and enjoying the experience.
Yeah. And another thing that you want to add?
And I completely agree with what Jonathan said about successful and being and becoming. I completely agree with what was already said.
And then I think you were saying something like before about that you can only be successful because that who you are instead of becoming someone else. Are you like not saying that anymore?
Oh, oh no, I kind of forgot it. Thank you for that reminder. Yeah. So like becoming also implies that you're not that already. And if you can only be successful like if you've already accepted that. Like it's a very subtle belief, I think, but it is a really important one. Like the first stepping stone of being anything that you want to is accepting that you are that already, and then you just keep taking steps to become more of that. So yeah.
And then next sentence after that, when he said, don't let a mad world tell you that success is anything other than a successful present moment. And what is that? There is a sense of quality in what you do, even the most simple action. And quality implies care and attention, which come with awareness. Quality requires your presence. So to him, is that once you be successful, then you also like everything that you do is a quality in, like it has some quality of it because you like provide care and attention. Is that what? I'm sorry.
Well, really,
I
time is the only thing
totally
that we have, right? It's the most important like the most important thing is time. Or well, not maybe not
no.
time,
Okay.
but like I guess what I was referring to is like the attention that we can give someone in a present moment, and giving that all to them is a very big thing, I feel like, right? So like the attention to detail and like being present in the moment, like that's what success would look like if you're consistently doing that thing.
Yes. Yeah. Agree. You were breaking out when you were saying, but I like that when you say attention to detail is like an example of because you when you put like attention and care and detail to that present moment, you'll be able to do it in a high quality whatever thing that you're doing like right now.
Yeah.
Yes. Um. Yeah. Okay, I think this is my second last slide that I have is about living with uncertainty. When the ego is no longer running your life, the psychological need for external security lessen. You are able to live with uncertainty, even enjoy it. Jonathan's gone.
Did Jonathan leave?
Yeah.
Or maybe he'll be back.
Okay. Maybe some connection. Um. So I think this is really, really powerful. And if I am able to accept this, like the uncertainty, I think it's going to make my life very peaceful and calm and not in anxiety, because it's like, like I'm not going to worry even if I don't have any money. That's just another example. Or if I don't have a, if I don't have a job, or if um, I don't know what will happen to me with my career, but because it's like if I can accept that that life, then yeah, then it's going to make like that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel that I will be able to like to accept the moment, or allowing whatever that is happening right now, and then kind of like move on. Are you going to say anything about this? True life experience?
Yeah, I definitely having one of those moments where I feel like I'm getting the
You're breaking out.
message loud and clear from the universe here. Is it better now?
A little bit. Welcome back, Jonathan.
Okay. Oh yay, we're all coming back.
It was a battery issue. Thank you.
That's okay. So we were just looking at this slide about living with uncertainty. And Meredith, you were saying that right now you were having something that you want to share, but you were like breaking out. So maybe you can, if you want to repeat that, whatever that you just said.
Yeah. Well, I was just sharing that I'm going through quite a bit of uncertainty in my life, and the resounding message that I keep getting is relax and trust, and everything's going to work out. And then to get this portion, in the book is just further confirmation that everything is working out, because all of the things that I'm actually worried about are part of the ego projecting out fear. And so working on getting comfortable with the uncertainty. I feel like I'm
Do you think that it has some limit to it? Like how much uncertainty you can accept, it's like, or is it doesn't really matter when you can accept living with uncertainty, it doesn't really even matter? The story that he gave is really, really
well, that's
powerful.
the kind of thing, is it's up to the individual, right? Like the individual gets to choose at what point, what's your breaking point.
Right.
For some people it's different, and then like other people don't need as much of a breaking point to
I think yeah. We lost you. Welcome back.
Goodness.
It's breaking out.
Waiting.
I'm gonna just do audio because that seemed to work
better. Yeah. Okay. Yes. We're sorry for those who are watching this right now. We're sorry for all the technical difficulty that we're having with the internet connection, but it's just life. Jonathan, why did
we're living with a
less bandwidth this way?
Why you disable your camera? Should I disable my camera?
Less bandwidth this way for Meredith to.
Are we supporting Meredith right now by disable our camera?
Yeah, it's a movement.
Okay, so, all right. Okay, let's do this.
Meredith, are you there?
I am. Can we do a knock knock joke? Oh,
run smoother with less bandwidth. And
who's there? No, we don't see anyone. Oh gosh.
Oh, but we can look at the PowerPoint.
Yeah, we can look at the PowerPoint. I'm enable my camera. It's fine. See me.
Did you hear me before I got kicked off? You were saying, why are we having these technical issues? And I said, because we're living with uncertainty.
Yeah, I did not catch that. So yeah,
it's real life lessons on
this
these
is the
book
real
clubs,
yes.
Last week Jonathan was in on it, and this week it's the technical stuff.
Oh yeah,
it's great.
See, and we're still laughing about it. So that's good, right? I mean, Jonathan, thank you, Meredith, for that. So, Jonathan, do you want to say anything about this? Have you had any experience with living with uncertainty, and what is your takes on it?
I had a very big kind of moment in my life just a couple weeks ago where uncertainty was a very big topic on my mind. I wondered to myself, what's the difference between a man and an angel and a god? And I suppose that angels are 100% certain about everything, and that's how they exist in the fifth dimension. But I'm not sure about that. I'm just a man. Uncertain, get it? It's yeah.
Okay. You're not making joke, right? Because if you try
No,
to make
I'm
jokes, I
serious.
don't,
That was a very
I don't
important thought.
understand jokes.
A very important thought that I was having.
Okay.
Very important thought that I was having.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did
Was,
you?
well, I suppose angels have no uncertainty in their life, and that's why they are higher beings. And I think
Okay.
uncertainty is just part of being a human. And when the uncertainty isn't compounded by the ego running the life, it
Mm-hmm.
might be,
Hmm.
not so bad. More spiritual, at least.
Yes, and then he also talked about, when you become comfortable with uncertainty, infinite possibilities open up in your life. It means fear is no longer a dominant factor in what you do and no longer prevents you from taking action to initiate change. And there is also a Roman philosopher, Tacitus. If I don't know if I'm saying the names correct, say that the desire for safety stands against every great and noble enterprise. If uncertainty is unacceptable to you, it turns into fear. If it is a perfectly acceptable, it turns into increased aliveness, alertness, and creativity. I feel that this is very powerful. It's like, like when you're not afraid of anything. I mean, even and you're not afraid of uncertainty, it means that you can be the best you could in your life, because it's like that's how I'm taking it. And you can become like maybe an artist or something, like, because it's increase your creativity, and become you can live in a happy with
Who's,
happiness.
who knows who likes ohms? Maybe some people don't like ohms. I'm so uncertain.
Like what, arms?
Ohms? Ohm?
What is that?
Ohm? Who knows what they are? I'm so uncertain.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. But is anything else you want to add? I think we heard from Jonathan before we move to the last slide. Anything?
It just still feels really big and worth repeating again. If uncertainty is unacceptable to you, it turns into fear.
Mm-hmm.
If it is perfectly acceptable, it turns into increased aliveness, alertness, and creativity. And I know that you
Yes.
just read that
Mm-hmm.
portion of the book, but I just think that's so huge.
Yeah.
Like, we have the power at any given moment to be aware of
Right.
ourselves and where our thoughts are going.
Mm-hmm.
And if it feels fearful, then know to gently turn it into like our higher self, and our higher self would view that as certainty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm certain about that, Teddy. I think I know what to stand with that.
Jonathan is talking to the
Like
cat.
comic relief, I was always kind of the class clown. I hope I'm not disrupting.
No, it's fine. We're taking it very well. All right. Oh, I thought I'm on. Oh yeah, I'm on the last. The totality of life, What is the whole? Can the whole use the human mind to create things or bring about a situation that are in alignment with its purpose?
Well, we can plan for relaxation time. We can make a plan to go to the spa or to float. Using the human mind to use time to get to places where we can really get grounded in that awareness rather than the thinking.
So is the answer is yes?
Yes, we can use our human rational minds to schedule intense awareness moments with our life. Yeah.
For me, that happens in nature when I'm hiking and I'm able to get like lost.
Yeah, I wanted to go on a fall hike this week, but I had nobody to go with.
It's better to go by yourself because that's you can be in stillness.
Yeah.
Most
Because if
people,
you, that's what Tony said. I mean, it's okay if you want to go with a friend, but you tend to talk to a person rather than be.
It's more reflective to go by yourself.
Yeah, but yeah, that's
plenty of walks in the woods. Yeah.
right. Um. Well, I think that's all that we have for this chapter, chapter 9. Are we ready for the exercise of next exercise for this week?
Sure.
Ask yourself.
Oh my gosh, it's getting down there.
I know. Ask yourself, is there joy, ease, and lightness in what I'm doing? If there isn't, then time is covering up the present moment and life is perceived as a burden or a struggle. So whatever that you do this week, ask this question. Do you find you happy? Is it easy? Or you're not struggling?
That's big.
That's big, right? I mean, what if I hate my job? Does that mean that I need to change my job? I'm just it's a question. Not
It would
saying that
probably be good to pause and think of that, like get curious and explore it more. What is it about your job that is
you don't
making
like.
it a no? I mean,
But
I've definitely been there before.
I love my job. I mean, that's just an example.
No, I hear you. Like that's a very common thing, right? It's because people devote so much time of their lives to a job, and if you're not enjoying it, then it sucks the life out of you.
Right. And then the second is, I think this is what we've been doing. What I was trying to be doing since I was reading this book is, to give the fullest attention to whatever the moment present. And this implies that you also completely accept what is, because you cannot give your full attention to something and resist it at the same time. Basically, just say that you accept, allowing your present moment as of like present right now. So those are the two exercises. That is like the last slide. I mean, this is just a conclusion from this week. We almost done with one more chapter to go next week, and Meredith is going to do the leading for the next week. So if you all are watching this, are interested to join us, there is the contact email on the slide, mindfulmeeting@mail.com. Before we go, Meredith and Jonathan, is there anything that you would like to say? Final words?
Let's final chapter.
Yeah,
Looking
next.
forward to it.
Looking forward to final chapter. Okay.
He will tell us what.
Yes.
Remember Tole's opinion. Yeah.
Meredith, anything?
I would say this is mostly a reminder to myself, but if it works out for anyone else, that's great.
Oh.
What are you going to say? Meredith?
I think the universe is saying that it's just time to be done.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I think the universe is saying it's time to be done. So I will save my words of wisdom for next week, probably.
All right. Okay. Thank you, everyone for watching. Hope to see you again next week. Bye bye. See ya. Good night.
Bye.